Well, hello everyone, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I'm about to start turn number 1 on Star Trek Expeditions, a cooperative game. I've got my team together and Captain Kirk is about to take his first set of actions. It looks like the very first thing we do is flip the next Stardate card. So there is my Stardate deck right there. And we see on this card 3 different colors: a blue, a gold, and a red. There's nothing written on the gold or the red, so we're going to go with the blue since I'm playing on the easiest level of difficulty. I believe if I were playing on a higher level of difficulty, say for example the medium level of difficulty, I would be playing events that happened in the gold bar there. I think also what happens in the previous colors, the lower level colors, the beginner color like blue, that takes effect, and what happens in the gold takes effect. So it looks like no matter what level of difficulty you are playing with, this card says the Klingon Battle Cruiser attacks. So I don't see any indication that I advance the Stardate marker. I believe that is always indicated on a card when that happens. The number 3 in the upper left hand corner indicates how many actions your character is allowed on his or her turn. But right now we have to, I believe, resolve this starship combat. To resolve a Klingon's attack situation like this, the first thing we do is advance the battle cruiser 1 space closer to the Enterprise. So I'm going to turn the model and advance it to that stage that says +6. If you notice here, after moving the attacking starship, you can retreat the defending Enterprise, but there's a question mark. I believe this comes into play when the Enterprise ends up adjacent or right next to the battle cruiser, and we've got some distance between us, so I don't need to retreat at this time. Now we go into the actual battle. We roll 1 black and 1 white die. We add the relevant combat or weapons clicks values, compare with each other's shields, and we play any cards or tokens that will make an effect on the battle. Alright, here goes the Klingon die. Let's see what we get. A 3. So the Klingons did attack with a value of 3. The Klingons are now using their long-range weapons. So we're going to use the value of 6 right there in the middle. So that's going to total 9. The Enterprise currently here has shields at 9. So that is equal to 9 and 9. If the value rolled by the Klingons is equal to or greater, then the Enterprise suffers damage. So the Enterprise was just rocked by the firepower of the Klingon Battle Cruiser and takes 1 click of damage. After the Klingons attack, the Enterprise can shoot back. And that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to roll our white attack die. And we rolled a 3. Well, you can see that the Enterprise long-range weapons are currently at 7. Adding 3 makes 10. And that's not going to break through the Klingons' defense of 13. So no damage is done to the Klingon vessel. Well, we've flipped over the Stargate card. We didn't need to advance the time marker this turn. We've had starship combat. There don't seem to be any events to resolve right now, so now we're down to the actions of Captain Kirk. Alright, this Stardate card indicates that Captain Kirk is allowed 3 actions on his turn. This is an old die from the first Star Trek role-playing game I ever had. It goes back a long time. The company, what was it? FASA, was it FASA? I can't quite remember the name of the publisher, but this die came from that set. Thought it would be appropriate to use here in this game. I'm going to use this die. Like I said, this didn't come with this game. I'm just going to use it to help me track my actions. So I'm allowed 3 actions here on my turn. Well, here's Captain Kirk. These are his 2 energized cards. One is called Command Authority, and I can play this card to gain 3 additional actions for this character this turn. Another one I have must be played while I'm on the Enterprise, and I can repair the Enterprise for 1 damage. I think I'm going to start with that one. I'm going to play this card as one of my actions to repair the Enterprise 1 click. So here we go. We're going to move this backwards now, taking it back to the green line there. It's at full value, and it didn't help that much, but at least it helped a little bit. I've already learned something new. If you see that text right there, starting right here, it says, and playing an action card never costs you one of your actions for the turn. So that little energized card that I played a moment ago to repair the Enterprise, that actually did not cost me an action, so I'm going to move this counter back up to 3. And I've discovered that by scanning through here, and I didn't see play an energized card as one of the actions. So you can play an energized card and it doesn't cost you one of your actions for the turn. Drawing an energized card, however, does take an action. You start off with 2 energized cards in your hand, and there's no maximum limit to the number of energized cards that you can hold. However, once the energized deck is depleted, it is not reused. So from then on, you have to do the best you can with just the actions available and no energized cards to help. One of the actions you can take on your turn is beaming up or down, but you're only allowed to do that once on your turn. So you can either beam down on your turn or beam back up to the ship, and you can't do both on a single turn, no matter how many actions you have available. So, 3 actions. Let's think about what Kirk is going to do. Looking down at the planet, the surface of the planet, I see one of the spaces. I don't know what the mission is going to be, but one of the tokens there says Klingon scrambling pad shields +1. If I can go down to the planet and grab this token and somehow get it back to the ship, that's going to boost the Enterprise shields by 1, and that would be very helpful. So I think I'm going to send Kirk down to this location first, and when he beams down, we're going to flip over the Captain's Log card. So Captain Kirk just spent an action to beam down to the planet, and we turn over the card and we have an energy mission. Up here at the front of the box here, I've lined up these mission cards, and they are in a particular order. The missions must be completed, and depending upon how well you did on the results, it will have a difference or make a difference on which mission card comes next in sequence. The first card is always the same. So we're going to draw the first energy card and take a look at the mission that's on it. Nibian Power Generator. A crystalline element which regulates energy production is rapidly degrading, leading to planet-wide energy shortages. Your mission is to analyze the crystalline element. This is a science mission. Any skills with analysis or any help you may have from dilithium samples. So there are some tokens on here that are called dilithium samples. Any of those that you can have to bring with you on this mission will help. And then here's where we see how well you do on your result. Remember, you're rolling those 2 white die and adding your skill and then adding any modifiers to it. If you get a 19 or higher, then the next energy card for the next mission is going to be 2B. If you get a 24 or higher, then you're going to go with 2A. An A mission to be your next mission in line is always better than a B or a C or a D. So depending upon how well you do, it'll have an effect on which mission comes up next. The next time you draw one of these Captain's Log energy cards. But this is what the current mission is, where Captain Kirk has beamed down to. He doesn't have to try this mission right now. He's just been alerted to the problem, and we can try to send the best crew members down to try to complete that. So we may want to have a science officer or Chekhov or somebody like that to come down and try to tackle this one. So I'm gonna just take this off and we'll put this mission card down here. Just a quick note on the setup of the game. When I laid down all of these cards on the board, I made sure that all of the cards that were a Captain's Log card like this, with an energy or a rebels or a politics keyword, those were all in the deck shuffled. There are other cards in here that look different. They are, I guess you could say, side missions. And you actually don't end up putting all of the mission cards down on the board. You just put enough down to fill up the board, making sure you've included all of these. So I think you kind of deal these down first, and then you add these to add extra missions to the adventure, and that way it gives you some replayability. You have some missions on here that you won't encounter this game, but you may in a future game. Well, it is still Captain Kirk's turn. He has 2 actions left, and I believe for another action I'm going to have him make a discovery. It's right there. You do this on the planet. When you make a discovery, you are allowed to take one of the tokens that is there at that location. So during Kirk's encounter there, finding out about the Nibian power generator problems, he comes across a Klingon scrambling pad, and he takes it. So I'm going to put this token with Captain Kirk's character card there. Captain Kirk still has 1 action available, and he has an Energize card which could allow him to gain 3 additional actions this turn, but I think I'm going to hang on to this right now. And for one of his actions, I can choose to have Kirk move 1 space on the planet. And taking a look at the adjacent areas, it's got to be to an area next to his. I may have him go up here. There is a token here called Ambassador, which gives you +3 to a command challenge. And that's pretty good for Kirk. I'm going to be sending him on mostly command missions, so that might be a good token for him to grab. So I think for his last action, I'm going to move him up one space. And when I do that, I turn over this card. Oh, it's another energy card. Now, that's interesting. I haven't completed this one yet. So I believe for right now, that card just simply stays face up with energy on it. Once this one is completed, whether I do very well and get the A course or so-so and get the B course, that will go there next. At least that's my understanding of the rules at this time. So I can't try the mission, I can't get the token, I can only move to that space and see what the next potential mission is there. And that's going to end Captain Kirk's turn.